Welcome back to the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. I'm Justin Rose, Matt Derry, Keith Nickel, and we're going to bring in producer extraordinaire Mike Foss, who's been scouring the Twitterverse. What have the people got for us today? Lots to talk about, Mike.
Lots to talk about indeed, and we'll start with thoughts on the Michigan State win. We'll get right to it. Our first tweet comes from Damien talking about frustration, talking about the Michigan game. Frustration, I'm loving every single second of it. And then Evan with a question, are the fourth quarter struggles a cause of concern for MSU? They need to maintain that focus and intensity for an entire game. Keith?
You know, I'm gonna say that's a little bit more of a coincidence thing, in my opinion. In Oregon, with the momentum and the heat and the exhaustion and the speed of those guys, that's a fourth quarter struggle for every single program that you're going to have. And then you look at the fourth quarter struggles that they had against Nebraska. I think, like everybody else, they got a little complacent, but certainly something to acknowledge in the locker room and something Coach D is going to have to focus on and get his guys to finish on and get back to that whole mindset of finishing at Michigan State and going full four quarters.
I wonder, too, if with Michigan State, they want to be in that Final Four badly. And with all the losses that occurred yesterday, and Oregon losing Thursday, and Bama losing yesterday, that it'll hurt them that they didn't put the hammer down on Nebraska.
Sure.
And we'll see if that plays out, but I think it's still very early.
What's your predictions for where they're going to be ranked when the rankings come out later today? I got 5.
Maybe 6 or
I was
7.
thinking
I think
6.
Yeah, I think Baylor will be ahead of them.
Eternal optimist. Mike, what's next?
Well, a whole lot of frustration from the Maize and Blue Nation, as you would imagine, after another loss to Rutgers. Once again, we'll get into it here. We start with Jason, who says, what's it going to take? Losses to Minnesota and Rutgers, a half-empty big house. This program is a joke. N-Dub says, what's Hoke doing as a coach off camera, as he's never coaching on camera? A, clapping, B, let's go, C, clapping, or D, spectating.
E, all of the above.
And then Detroit Sports Podcast asking, is Rich Rod off the hook for his time at UM? 5-0, Hoke and Madison have no clue. Welcome home, Jay Rose.
Hey, thank you, Detroit Sports Podcast. I appreciate it. Matt, where do we even start with this? I mean, people are calling for Hoke to be fired tomorrow, but that ain't going to happen, is it?
No, I think he's going to last the season. I think he'll be gone at the end of the year. I don't think there really is any question about it. Now, the question is going to be if Dave Brandon, the athletic director, is going with him. What happened this past week and how it was handled, the PR blunders, putting a concussed player back in the field, Hoke not knowing on Monday, when Brandon said he knew Sunday that Shane was concussed. It's a bad scene. And you know, Keith, they are playing hard. And last night, but again, you know, you could talk about coaching all you want. Frank Clark, we talked about, has to make that play. Devin Gardner can't throw that pick in that spot in the second half.
Yeah.
So as much as it's coaching, I don't think they have a lot of material, though.
Yeah.
Keith, has Brady Hoke lost that locker room? Is that something you have to consider at this point?
Lost the locker room. I don't think he's lost the locker room, but I think there's just so many problems. There's not one specific problem. It's not the quarterback. It's not the O-line. It's not the coaching. I think it's a mixture of all of it. So we all have no answers. So I don't know what it's going to take to make him swing around, but it's certainly a lot of things got to change, and the culture's got to get changed, in my opinion.
I agree. And it's, you know, they're going to have to start over again. They are.
Well, we'll talk plenty more about this coming up after this break. We'll see you in just a couple of moments.